Happy Sunday, my friends. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. I wanted to get on here and share a message with all of you guys that are new on the telephones. And even if you're not, the question is, did you know that you can only call on your leads for 90 days from the moment in time that the lead was originated? And what does origination mean? Let's say, for example, you're working a direct mail piece. The origination date starts on the timestamp on that post. If you're working a Facebook lead, it's the moment in time that person submitted that request. That exact time triggers that 90-day window. And for some of you, you're wondering, 90 days? What is this crazy man talking about? Yes. Every lead under prior written consent laws, TCPA laws, require us to have consent to call somebody to solicit them for insurance, to use text messaging, so on and so forth. We require that consent. And without it, we can get in trouble with TCPA laws, whether you're text messaging people or if the person's on the do not call registry and you call them, now you're in some hot water. And these laws are really designed to stop a lot of the unsolicited phone calls that we get every single day. But think about that. How many of you right now are buying leads from the agency that you're working for? And maybe you're getting a discount on the leads, right? You're getting a sale. But again, how many of you are looking at the date of origination and making sure that you're not calling past 90 days? Now, I'm not saying that you can't continue to call, but let me tell you what you can't do after 90 days. One, you can't use no more fancy dialing system to dial that number for you. You got to manually dial that phone number. No longer can you text message or use AI. And then second of all, you got to make sure that the do not call registry mechanisms that you use to check is 100% accurate. There's a lot of companies out there that offer services that scrub the phone numbers for you against the national, maybe the state as well, but very, very few are accurate. In most cases, you got to have your SANS number. You got to have you got to pay a fee for every area code that you're dialing in. And it's about $21,000 a year to get the accurate database for do not call. But again, think of just the costs associated with that. Think about it for a second. If you're buying aged leads and you don't know when the lead was generated, how much money are you losing for that one thing? And think about it. If you're buying an aged lead and it's 60 days old, right? And you're paying, let's say you got it at a discount. You only got 30 days to call that person, text message that person. And then after that, you need to make sure that, again, the phone number's not on the do not call registry, whether state or national. You got to make sure that you're no longer text messaging using any fancy equipment, because that's what gets people in trouble. And people are getting in trouble every single day. In fact, I got 3 cases right now, class action, against companies that violate these guidelines all day long. Why? Mainly because a lot of the insurance companies are not training their IMOs, their agents. They're not. They're hiring them and they put it on the agent to figure it out. So ask yourself, how old are your leads? And once you buy that lead, how are you managing that lead? Does your CRM automatically knock them out 90 days in? Is your DNC mechanism 100% accurate? And if the answer is no, maybe it's something you need to really put a question mark, because it can cost you thousands, if not millions, in fines because of these issues. Now, as an agent myself, and I've seen many managers and agencies and companies that sell leads to their agents, very rarely are they even talking about this. Very rarely. But if you notice in the contracting with the carrier, they hold you accountable for anything that you do in terms of telemarketing. And you're signing off on that. But think about how many companies do not provide this training. I'm going to go ahead and drop a video here in the comment section where I go through that training of what not to do and what to look forward. And also, if you're buying aged leads, you got to be on the lookout exactly for those dates, because you can be in some deep trouble. A lot of people get in trouble because they've put a bunch of phone numbers in their CRM system, and the system doesn't have the date of origination, so it's just blowing up numbers that are on the DNC. Think about it. There's 330 million Americans, and over 50% of those folk are registered on the National Do Not Call Registry. So the odds of you getting in trouble are very high. But why do I think that a lot of the companies don't do any training? Honestly, I believe it's because it's going to cost them a lot of money. Think about it. If you're an agency owner and you do a lot of marketing and you got your banks of lead banks full of leads that are getting older and older by the day, you definitely don't want to be, talking about the origination date of every one of those leads, right? Because it's going to make the agent buying those leads maybe not want to pay the full price that they're charging or whatever. I could see how the lead part can turn into something negative in most cases. But you know what? I would rather know the origination of the lead, and based on that, make an offer on those leads and then go from there. But just the idea of buying leads, ladies and gentlemen, today to call, in my opinion, is a waste of money. But I'm talking about if you're following up on the current leads that you're working, be careful, again, with those origination dates. 90 days. Now, if you have a client, you got 18 months to call that person, regardless if they're on the Do Not Call registry or not. But they got to be a valid customer. A lapsed policyholder wouldn't count. But you got 90 days. So on this Sunday, take a look at all the leads that you have. Ask yourself, are you checking the Do Not Call registry? Ask yourself, how old are these? Ask yourself, are you text messaging these people? And chances are, if they're over 90 days old, you're probably making these violations every day. And it's something you definitely don't want to be a part of when you have a litigator hitting you up telling you that you violated their rights. And it's not no Mickey Mouse thing. It's serious fines. So I hope this helps you out. Please check out the video here in the comment section. Do your research. Do your homework. There's no excuse. Peace.